Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. This is of course HD's StarCraft, and I'm here to bring you guys game 2 between Root.TT1. He is the teal Protoss player at the top left hand corner, and the map is Star Station. And across yonder on the other side of the map, cross spawn in fact, we of course have his opponent, and many consider to be fan favorite. It is Root.Catz. So this is going to be a ZVP, of course, continuation game from the first one. If you guys didn't see it, definitely check it out. I would definitely felt like that was a very high level game, because you can see that their teammates, they play against each other a lot, so you can see the leveling that was kind of going on between the two players, trying to get under their skin and playing a very interesting creative game there of StarCraft 2, with TT1 able to take the first victory. But will he be able to close out here against Catz on the map Star Station? Well, we're about to find out. Now, of course, Star Station, it is a big map. You have the natural expansion, and then you've got the opening out to the center area of the map. Given that this is a big map in the first place, and I've seen macro games extend wildly into the 40 to 50 minute range. I've already casted several of them, in fact, on this very map. Even with spawns being symmetrical to each other, that is, one on the, say, top left and one on the bottom left, now we've got cross spawn enabled. So with that in mind, you would imagine, okay, we're definitely going to have a long game here. That's my prediction, at least. We'll see if that's the case. Druby is even watching this game, so we've got Druby, we've got Vibe. Is this like some kind of inter-clan war right now? Not too sure. But I'm glad, actually. I'm really glad that Root has come back together after, you know, breaking off into complexity, coming back together and reforming with all the original old school guys. I definitely liked all the players in this team. They're all really cool guys, and I've had the pleasure of meeting them all firsthand. So there it is. TT1 here saying something about a move like a boss. What happens? You only live once, YOLO. And looks like we do have a Nexus coming down right here. TT1 has 400 APM. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. No, I don't see that right now. I guess they're just having a little bit of friendly talk, friendly chat between the two guys. Always fun to see. And it looks like Catz is going to get his drone in here, but this time around we do have a Nexus first from TT1 instead of a Forge Fast Expand. I think the reason why is because it's such a big map. This one's, I feel like, is bigger than Daybreak. And the time it takes to get because it's a 4-player map, it's easier to get a Nexus first than it is. You're not required to get a Forge Fast Expand to defend against early aggression. Because it's a 4-player map, it's harder to get for a Zerg to be aggressive against you. So I just feel like going Nexus first allows you to eke out that a little bit extra economy, and even though it's a little more dangerous, it's okay. And I think Catz here has the same mentality. It's like, alright, well, if it's a big map, lots of expansions, alright, I'll just go for quad hatch again. If anything, it makes more sense on this map than it did on the previous map, because of the reasons I just stated. They're talking about Alexei Krumpnik there, which is, of course, his name, Whitera. Something about Whitera doing some kind of sick strategy, and I can check the message log later on at the end of this game to see what the hell they were talking about. But I always love watching Whitera play games, because he's a very avid player in Heart of the Swarm. A lot of replays, actually, of his kind of going out and games of him against top tier pros. I want to go ahead and get back into doing some more Whitera games. It would be sick to do a game with Whitera and Catz, or Whitera and TT1, actually. That would be really cool. But I don't think I've seen a game with Whitera and Catz before. That would be really cool. Maybe I'll set up a show match or something. Throw down some of my own personal money, $500 or something. See what happens. That'd be kind of sick. Just to see who's better. You know, they've been both playing a lot of Heart of the Swarm. So there it is. Also know that Cat's been playing a lot of Dota 2 lately. Been playing a couple of games with him, but I digress. We do have a Cybernetics core here and a gateway coming up. Nothing too crazy just yet from TT1, but you know, I've said this time and time again, he is a great 2-base player when it comes to playing Protoss, but this time around, because he went Nexus first, because it's a big map, it's a 4-player map, I'm more inclined to think, plus he's getting a Mothership core right now, I'm more inclined to think that he's going to play macro. He is going to sit back and really ramp up the tech and really ramp up production, maybe even go to a 3rd base. You know, that's my inclination this time around, but I might be proven wrong. Catz, as far as it goes right now, is of course just droning up like a madman. I mean, that's what you do when you have 4 hatches. Doesn't have gas yet. Wow. Interesting. He doesn't have an ounce of gas. It's getting close to 7 minutes right now. There we go. We do have the extractors coming up, quad extractors, in fact. And that's the thing. If you delay gas to the late 7-minute mark, you better gas up like crazy, because you need to make up for your gas losses that you would have had earlier, and you need Zergling speed as soon as possible. Of course, we've seen him defend against early gateway pressure without Zergling speed. He uses queens and speedless Zerglings to do it, and I like where he places the hatchery. You'll note he places the hatchery here to connect the creep between the third and the second, so he can get his queens in position very, very easily. That's so smart. It's understated, but it's genius, the place where he puts the fourth hatchery. So very, very smart. But we do have TT1 coming in here with a Mothership Core that's obviously using its Envision ability, allowing the Stalkers to pick off the creep tumors. And that's good, obviously, but no amount of picking off creep tumors will disconnect these bases from each other because of that hatchery planted in the middle. So these Zerglings, even though they don't have Zergling speed, they still get that boost on creep, and that should be enough to defend against these Stalkers. We'll see, though. Spine Crawlers now coming up. The Zerglings getting off the edge of creep, though, so they won't be able to give chase. That's the only thing. As you can play defensively here. You know, it's like watching a game of chess. You can play defensively here, but you cannot walk across the creep with the Zerglings. Those Stalkers will just punch. They'll just kite them away all day long. So, and I guess my intuition was correct. It does seem like TT1 is going to go for a third Nexus here. But he's still pressuring at the front door, trying to pick off creep tumors wherever he can. Of course, that Mothership Core needs to be careful. She doesn't want to go down in the early game. She's quite expensive. And it looks like now TT1 is content to go ahead and just fall back home and wait for another day to continue the aggression. For now, though, he's going to fall back and continue to macro up. It looks like he's got a Twilight Council on the way. One Overseer or Overlord was able to make it in before dying. It did see the Twilight Council. So at this point, you'd imagine we're going to see either Blink coming up or a quick Templar Archives for Storm and Archons. We'll see which way TT1 wants to go ahead and go with that, but Catz is coming across the middle of the field here with a lot of Speedlings. Don't think these are going to be able to do much damage, though, not with the Stalkers and the Sentries in the position that they are right now. That Nexus is going to be held down pretty tight, nice and tight. Do note that one Zeldonga Tower is being held by Catz at the left-hand side of the map. Double Robo Bay coming up. Wow, double Robo and Twilight Council. That is interesting. So TT1 here is going to go, I guess he's going to go Colossus production, and he's going to try to get, you know, some Twilight Tech at the same time. Going to stretch his gas pretty thin there, but it is possible to do. We'll see, but oh no, wow. Apparently that Zealot went on too much of a diet, and those Zerglings are now leaking inside, and now all the probes are running away for it. Oh my god, that's brutal right there whenever something like that happens. And luckily, TT1's only lost 4 probes so far, but he's still got to defend off the main base. It looks like he will do that, and I guess he was able to kill off most of the Zerglings. Very nice by TT1. That almost worked better for TT1 than it did for Catz, because that was a lot of Zerglings. That was at least 1,000 minerals worth of Zerglings. We can look at the units lost tab, and there it is, 1,150 for the Zerg losing right there. And actually TT1 didn't lose much. He lost 4 probes, which equates to 200 minerals. So that was almost like opening the trap doors for those Zerglings, but then ha ha ha, little did the Zerglings know they weren't going to get any probe kills. Very nice job, actually, by TT1. Good control. He does have 2 Robos. He isn't making double Colossus as I thought he was. He was actually going double Robo with just one of the robotics making Immortals, and with the other one making Warp Prisms and Observers. So I don't know if that warrants going for 2 robotics facilities. I definitely feel like he could have saved money there just by going with a single robo. Now you see one of the robos isn't doing a damn thing. It's just chilling there. But whatever, you know, sometimes mistakes happen. And of course he can still use the second robotics later on. But Catz does have a center hatchery here that is going to push him up to 5 hatches. Of course that's 4 bases because one is a macro hatch. And he is going for Roach, Hydra, Infestor. Okay. Roach, Hydra, Infestor, not too bad. Hopefully he gets up to Vipers soon, though. Vipers are such a good unit, and they work very well in conjunction with Hydralisks. They will shut down Colossus, they will shut down Tempest, they pretty much shut down everything, and as soon as the hive finishes, like clockwork, Catz goes for the Vipers. He's making 2 right now, and upgrades currently showing, actually, Catz doesn't have a single upgrade online yet. He's trying to get +1/+1 right now. But there is an impending attack by TT1. And this is a pretty large Protoss army, mostly based on the ground. There should be enough energy on the Mothership Core to go ahead and recall this army if things get hairy due to fungal growth as well. That's the one biggest benefit of the Mothership Core, really, is the ability to go ahead and recall an army if you start to get chain fungal. But TT1 uses an ability for Envision. I'm not sure why. He already had an Observer here. That seems like a waste because now he can't recall his army, at least not for another 30 seconds or so. Definitely feel like that was a mistake. But we do have some Vipers coming in here, consuming the hatcheries. So Catz is preparing, man. He's got a big army. He is maxed right now. Roaches and Hydras, all with +1/+1. 2/2 on the way. The Protoss is now gaining up on his upgrades. It's about to get actually 2/3, excuse me. So, yeah, he's definitely ahead in upgrades right now. Oh, we have a Warp Prism drop of Zealots, and they are going to be able to take out the Hive. Oh my god, hidden attack right there. Did not even see it coming, but those 1/2 Zealots just punched through the Hive like it wasn't even there. The drones are trying to run for it. I don't know why they're congregating over here, but it looks like Catz just lost a major tech structure. Now going over to the left-hand side, oh my goodness, losing the Hive is brutal for Zerg. Now, of course, did he ever get any of his Hive tech structures down? I don't see a Greater Spire, I don't see an Ultra Cavern, so it's not that bad if he can get up to lair and get a new Hive up as soon as possible. It looks like he is making a counter attack with the Roaches and Hydras here, and he is going to be able to take out this Nexus. Great fungal growth right there. Nexus is going down. Catz needs to focus fire. There are DTs up in here as well, and Catz doesn't have a form of detection. Not too sure what's going on. Blinding Cloud coming. And shutting down some of the ranged units, and Catz is not taking out the Nexus. The Nexus could survive, but he focus fires at the last second, and that Nexus is going down. Meanwhile, Warp Prism still coming around the back here from the main base, is depositing Zealots inside the third expansion. The Viper says, no, stop dropping units there. Come over here and drop units in the main where I have units. But nope, it looks like TT1 had Warp Prism range to go ahead and get to the low ground, and he is continuing to deposit Zealots and DTs. This hatchery is down. Wow, this is such a sick game part of the Swarm, and those Dark Templar are still doing obscene amounts of damage. Overseers need to come in right now. It looks like double Overseer coming on those Overlords, but the Warp Prism can just get the hell out of the way. That's the benefit of having Warp Prism speed, and that Warp Prism is out of there. Actually, I don't think Warp Prism speed is researched right now. I'm not entirely sure. Sometimes it's hard to tell when you look at the actual unit, and you can't really see the actual speed. So I'm trying to find the Warp Prism, the robotic support bay right now, but I'm having difficulty finding it. But regardless, it does look like TT1 is coming around here once again with his ground army. Got to be careful though. That is a lot of Roaches at 2/2. And oh, actually TT1 could lose a lot of his army here, but he's got so many charge lots. And normally Roaches would say charge lots, no problem, but that's so many charge lots that TT1 actually has enough of an army to push that back. And meanwhile, Dark Templar is still getting dropped off by the Warp Prism. There we go, Warp Prism doesn't have move speed, so I had an inkling that it wasn't actually going that fast. But it does look like the hatchery at the main base goes down once again. Catz is really taking such a beating so far. Let's take a look at some of these tabs to get a gauge on how much. It does look like he's lost more resources in terms of units total. In terms of workers lost, he's definitely lost a little bit less. You can see that he's killed more. But in terms of actual income right now, pretty close game actually. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. That Dark Templar was able to take out that Roach Warren, and it finally gets picked off right there. Meanwhile, that Warp Prism is still, man, this Warp Prism is just going around places and doing a lot of damage. Literally, that's what it's doing right now. It is going around places and doing a lot of damage. So, very nice job by the Warp Prism. Excellent job. And now it does look like TT1 is going to come around the back. The bottom, excuse me, and that's a lot of... Oh, Archon's getting yanked back by the Vipers. Very nice job by Catz. Is he going to continue to yank those Archons in? Really nice job getting the key units here. And now it's just down to Zealots and a few Immortals remaining, and that is so many Roaches and Hydras. TT1 has got to pull back. He's got to get out of there. Now, TT1 obviously still has one advantage going for him, the fact that the Zerg player has lost a spawning pool. He's lost a Roach Warren, so these Zerglings and Roaches cannot be reproduced now. Only Hydralisks can, and that's why you see Hydras were being made on the production tab, but nothing else. But we do also have some DTs coming around the backside. TT1 is hoping here that these Dark Templar can buy him enough time before this counterattack reaches his front door. It looks like it did, because we can see a bit of hesitation by Catz. He didn't continue onwards with the Roaches and Hydras when he certainly had an opportunity to do so. Now he is, though. Was that enough time for TT1 to get enough forces on the field? He morphed in a new Archon. I don't think he's got enough. Gateways are going down here. Dark Templar are warping out, though, and I don't see an Overseer nearby. Those DTs could be the end of these Roaches and Hydras. And wow, that's the problem, really. Without an Overseer nearby, these Hydras are goners. And it looks like TT1 is going to once again hold on to his front door. Brilliant job by TT1, the Canadian Protoss player. Currently upgrades 2-2 to 2-3. Zerg just slightly behind. There's a Zerg's chance to take out the Warp Prism. Catz, what are you doing? And that Warp Prism is, oh man, that was like a 1 in a million right there. And then finally TT1 realizes, like, oh, I just got to change the trajectory of flight right there. Just a slight danger to our flight plan, but now it's okay. No new hatchery coming up inside the main base so far. Catz might just say screw it, no reason to make a new hatch there, because there really isn't that much money to be had. He might just make a hatch over here and lair and hive up somewhere else. It does look like we have a lair coming at the natural, but no indications of a hive yet. And one drawback actually to losing the hive early on in this game for Catz is the fact that he doesn't have Vipers. He can't make new Vipers. In fact, you need a you need a Viper pit to make Vipers. You need a hive to make Vipers, and that's actually really good that Catz has been able to keep his Viper count alive this entire time. He made 4 Vipers when his hive finished. His hive died. He hasn't lost his Vipers since then. So a very good job controlling the new spellcasters available to the Zerg here. It does look like we have a rando DT coming around the back thinking he is Rambo here, and he is going to go down. Meanwhile, one hatchery is forced to cancel at the 6 o'clock position due to an attack by TT1. Luckily for TT1 here, not too many infestors he's got to worry about. There are 4 on the way, but current units not showing any infestors at all. So those attacks that he's making right now pretty much made without any fear of retaliation, because usually Protoss not too inclined to attack like that into this hatchery because of the threat of a fungal growth, but it doesn't look like that's posing any danger right now. Very close game, 175 to 159 supply. Obviously both players averaging a 200 EPM. That's quite incredible. That's very, very fast. APM, obviously normal APM, which includes spam, is at 374 and 291. Just some superfluous numbers for you guys, for those of you who are interested in it. Catz is going for, he's replanting the hatchery inside the main base, which says to me he's a little scared, I guess, about making a hatchery out here and out here. He did just lose the one over here, so I mean he needs another hatchery regardless. Even though there isn't that much money to be made, there's still a lot of gas to be harvested here, so he might as well just make the hatchery on the interior. But he also needs to assert his dominance, I feel like, outwards and get some hatcheries at the 6 o'clock and this expansion as well, as TT1 is actually doing. He's expanding outwards right now. And this is a great spot to make the new Nexus. Reason being, you can place a wall over here, and you essentially get 2 expansions for the price of 1 defended one. So very good position right there by TT1, but that is a lot of Hydras by Catz. A ton of Hydras, in fact. Storm isn't quite done yet. I do like how TT1 is teching up to Storm right now, because he'll need it to combat these Hydralisks. That is really the one way to do it. Colossus don't work so well anymore because of Vipers. Vipers shut down Colossus, but Templars come strong in numbers, so they can storm down these Hydras. We'll see what happens. But Catz actually taking the high ground right here. Whoa, this is crazy. He's taking the high ground, and you know what? If he controls that zone on the tower, he can shut down mining at this expansion. He's going to force TT1's hand to make a move. TT1 not in the best position. He can get fungled, and that's exactly what happens. Fungal growth's coming down here, and all those Zealots can't do a damn thing. They're stuck. Now Storm's coming out. The Storm finishing just in the nick of time. Storms! And those Hydras are getting ripped to shred by beautiful Psionic Storms, but the Vipers come in and they drop Blinding Clouds as well. So now it's just going to be down to Charge Lots. And Charge Lots aren't so good against Hydras, although they are also under the Blinding Cloud momentarily right there. Oh, yanks that Immortal back in. Where you going, says Catz. And Catz should be able to take out this Nexus. Druby here can also also adding a little bit of a comment of his own about the Viper, but this Nexus should go down. Of course, there is a new Nexus back here. Meanwhile, a backwards attack here with the Dark Templar coming in. I don't even know how they got there, but there are roaches and a Spore Crawler placed conveniently for Catz's ability to detect that Dark Templar. So a nice job right there. And now Catz in commanding position of this game. 154 supply to 74. He dropped the entire army. He took out a Nexus, but he doesn't know about this Nexus in the backside. That is still mining right now. TT1 saying this is so retarded. Don't do that all game. I don't know. Trying to make an impersonation of TT1 there, failing epically. But Druby telling Catz to go chain abduct a probe across the map and then neural parasite it. That's clever right there. Well, if the day I see that and then the probe makes a Nexus and gets away with it, and then Catz is able to convert his army into a Protoss army, that's the day that I quit casting StarCraft 2, because I've seen it all. I've truly seen it all. So great stuff. But these probes are making their way down here to the bottom expansion, and it looks like Catz is going to go ahead and be able to defend this area pretty easily. It's got so many roaches and hydras, and there isn't enough range units here, just a bunch of charge lots. While charge lots before they worked alright, this time there's just so many roaches and hydras in numbers that, oh my god, even the Templar are left in the dust. So pretty rough right there. And now, oh, what a storm! One storm is all he's got, though. He's out of energy. This Templar gets yanked in for storming, and the Archon comes in as well, gets focus fired down. GG calls TT1, and it's a great game right there to end the series for Catz. And I say end the series because I don't have a third game from these guys, so maybe I'll ask them to go ahead and play a third one, and then I'll upload it in the future. But for now, that is it. Both of them kind of tying up right there, but an incredible HOTS games right there, because it showcases some of the new units and abilities available at a very high level of StarCraft 2. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you know anybody playing Heart of the Storm at top Grandmasters level, go ahead and have them send their replays to me at HDreplays.com. Doesn't matter if it's a streamer or your friend or whatever, and I'll go ahead and check it out. But for now, this is, of course, HD StarCraft. I'm actually going snowboarding one more time up to the mountains at Lake Tahoe one more time, so I'll be gone for this weekend, but I'm going to be pre-recording some games for you guys. And of course, Happy New Year's to everyone. This is HD, and I am signing out.